Before I start to dive into today's topic, I wanted to give a massive thank you to everyone who has shown support on my last video. You guys absolutely killed it, and I appreciate all the feedback, solutions, and suggestions for me to try. I'm admittedly no expert at Linux, but my interest in it has grown for sure. I have noticed a few of you who have commented brought up a distro called CachyOS, which is based on Arch. It has more optimizations and gaming ready features just a click away, and it has piqued my interest for me to try. The only thing is I need to actually install it, so
Psych!
Okay, so CachyOS is installed. It feels noticeably snappier than Linux Mint. Apps launch and close way quicker. Everything just feels more responsive. I do want to run some benchmarks like the previous video, and just to clarify, this video isn't only about gaming. I'm also going to look at everyday performance and overall usability. Once again, here are my PC specs for context. NVIDIA can be a coin toss with Linux, and AMD is usually the safe option, but this is what I'm working with. Also, I did try updating Linux Mint's kernel as much as I could. The highest version I got was 6.11. Anything higher like 6.14 would throw an unsupported message. With all that out of the way, let's jump into the benchmarks. Benchmarking with the same games as last time, Hitman WoA Assassination is up first. Running the game without DLSS and ray tracing, CachyOS takes a 7% lead over Mint at 133 FPS versus 124. DLSS balance has a similar 7% gain on CachyOS with 182 versus 169 FPS. DLSS and ray tracing turn on, interestingly, ran better on Mint than CachyOS, having a 16% lead. Then Cachy takes it right back with ray tracing on and no DLSS with a 2 to 3 FPS lead. Next, with Forza Horizon 5, CachyOS has about a 10% lead over Mint with DLSS quality. Same way if there's no DLSS enabled. Funny enough, no DLSS makes the game run better in this instance, and we all know DLSS can soften image quality, so it's very much a win-win for this title. And lastly, for gaming benchmarks, Minecraft. This one genuinely surprised me. Using the same seed and performance mods as before, Linux Mint had a massive lead over CachyOS. Looking out at the terrain, a 20% FPS gain. Looking up at the sky, Mint took a 40% lead, though let's be real, who plays Minecraft staring at the sky? Even down in a cave, Mint still had a 32% FPS advantage. Sure, both OSs pulled insanely high frames, but if you're trying to flex your FPS, Linux Mint just might be your best bet. I do have good news about Dolphin on Mint. I ended up updating some things like you guys suggested, and it recognizes my GPU again. I didn't experience any issues with performance on either OS, it runs as intended. Thanks to its animation speed and built-in optimizations, navigating CachyOS just feels snappier. As you guys can see, I'm blazing through opening up a ton of different programs without any delay. Closing them is just as quick. Mint isn't bad either, but doesn't have that same instant feeling as Cachy. Since CachyOS is based on Arch, Arch-based distros tend to rely on a rolling release model to get the latest drivers and kernel support, but does come at the cost of stability. CPU schedulers on Cachy prioritize responsiveness, and in gaming, the proof is in the pudding. There's also much more desktop environments to choose from, and you don't have to stick with KDE Plasma if you don't want to. Arch is definitely more for the tech-savvy user, or those who want to learn Linux much better. It's incredibly customizable with a lot of things you can fine-tune to your liking. If you have a modern system, you'll appreciate getting the latest drivers and kernel support. On Mint, you are behind with kernel updates, but they're more stable. As mentioned, the highest I was able to go was 6.11 versus 6.15 on Cachy. Despite CachyOS being an Arch but easy distro, I feel in some cases Mint is more beginner friendly. Installing applications will be more familiar with the software manager, as it's just like an app store. The update manager also makes it easy to keep your system up to date without diving into the terminal. And for anyone switching from Windows, Mint's out-of-box experience feels a whole lot more complete. Mint relies on Ubuntu's LTS for software updates and support, so while it may not be the newest, it's at least stable. So, is CachyOS truly better than Linux Mint? Well, it depends on what you're looking for. If you want the latest software, kernel updates, and drivers, or if you're aiming for better gaming performance because of that, CachyOS is a great choice. It's perfect for more tech-savvy users who want the power of Arch with a little added convenience. The custom performance tweaks, fast package repository, and deep customizability make it an excellent option if you want to fine-tune your system. But don't count Mint out. If you want a stable Linux distro where you don't have to worry about updates breaking your system, Mint is excellent. It offers a smooth transition if you're coming from Windows, with tools like Software Manager and Update Manager that make it easy to use without diving into the terminal. Plus it comes ready to go out of the box with essential apps and media support. You can't go wrong with either of them starting out. No distro shaming from me no matter what you use. I'm JustSomeTechie. Catch you all in the next one. See ya then.